Great day for this 15th of June, and Monday mornings we get you caught up as to what has happened in the world of motorsports, and it's time to do that right now. Time for the Monday morning race review, brought to you by our good friends at Tony Morrow Collision Center. Lots to get to, so let's look at our first thing right off the bat. Kind of sad news. Marshalltown Speedway got rained out, so that wasn't a good way to start the weekend. And also another unpopular way to start the weekend was what everybody was talking about at the Iowa State Fair Speedway. And here is what happened in the late model makeup race. It got rain a week ago, so they had to make up a bunch of races. Watch the number 95. That's Craig Jacobs. Gets forced down about halfway down the backstretch and then goes and hits the inside barrier. Ouch. Incredibly hard hit. Let's watch it again. He comes off of turn number 2, forced down low, gets sideways, and then hits the inside barrier. And this was a pretty hard crash, hard enough to drive a piece of metal through the side of the door that ended up going through his leg. He was skewered inside the car. He got out of the car. They got him over to Mercy. He spent the evening at Mercy for observations and things like that. And he is doing okay. We talked to him on Saturday morning, and Craig was doing fine. But we have an update on him in just a couple of seconds. Here are the rest of the results on what happened. These are the makeup races that happened first and foremost on Friday evening. Thank you, Fast Track Fan, for that video showing Craig's crash. Dalton, Tyler, John, and Steve all winning in their divisions. But talked to Craig last night while I was preparing the race report, and he said he's a hurting unit. It's going to be difficult for him to be walking by the time Friday rolls around. We're not racing Friday at the fairgrounds. They got the rodeo that's going to be there, so there's no racing at the fairgrounds on Friday. But he did send this picture over just a little bit ago. This is him giving the thumbs up for all his fans. He thanks all the fans for all their well wishes. People came and visited him at the hospital on Saturday, but he's doing better. He had like a dozen or so stitches inside the muscle and 20 or 30 in the outside of his leg. But he said thankfully he had a decent seat, a restraint device or a restraining type seat that kept his head where it belongs. So he's grateful that he had a halfway decent seat.
Nice legs.
Yeah, it is real good. But he's a big fan of yours, Jason Parker.
I know. I can't lose any fans. So
he stopped over and made that comment before the races started that night.
Yeah, that was nice.
So Craig, get well, buddy. We're keeping an eye on you, Jake, and we'll check in with you in just a little while as well. Here's the way the regular series ran for the rest of the evening. Glenn Gladson wins again in the Sport Mods. Shannon Anderson, Paul Glendenning came all the way from down in the Mount Air area to win his event. Congratulations, Paul. Tyler wins. John wins again, and then John Hunnell in the stock car division. Matt Morrow wins in the truck series. Damon Murdy knocking on his door. We broke a bizarre part in ours, so that was kind of weird for us, but great run out of Morrow and Murdy. And Pat Gordon had a halfway decent run too. Anthony Morrow, very proud of what you did in that event as well. Also keeping an eye on the ARCA series. ARCA ran and Ross Kenseth won that race. You're wondering, that sounds familiar. Well, that's Matt Kenseth's kid. There's Matt on the right in the picture. Ross a little taller than his dad. And that is a Kenny Schrader car, the guy that was here just a couple of weeks ago. So that's cool. But the Xfinity Series race also ran on Saturday, and it was the return of Kyle Busch to the Xfinity Series race in the Monster Energy number 54. That is Chase Elliott in the 9 underneath him. Last couple of laps of the race, and looks like maybe Chase is going to hold off Kyle Busch. Not so fast. Kyle Busch likes to get back to victory lane, and that is exactly what Kyle Busch did. He just motored away. Kyle Busch wins his return, the first time he's been inside of one of those cars since his devastating crash at Daytona earlier this year. And he does some of the best burnouts in the whole industry, so we just had to show Kyle doing his burnouts. And of course, when he gets done doing his burnouts, everybody has their own little signature salute now. You know, Carl Edwards does the backflip, and what Kyle Busch does is he appreciates everybody being there. So what does he do? He bows to everybody that is there. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Kyle Busch winning the Xfinity Series race. Kyle Larson finished second. Kyle Larson finished in third place, so good run on to him. Brendan Gaughan, our buddy Ty Dillon, Joey Gase, and Len Kessel all finished in those spots respectively. Don't forget, those guys will be here end of July and on August 1st as well. Next, we look over at Warren County Speedway. They ran over the weekend as well. There are your winners down in Indianola, so good job out of those guys. Saturday was really busy all over the place, and the trucks, as in the NASCAR Truck Series, they were running down just outside of St. Louis in Madison, Illinois is where this track is located. It's called Gateway Motorsports Park, and the 00 ends up winning for the first time in 2015. That is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s truck. And rumor has it, Junior's going to climb inside that truck. Maybe not this year, possibly next season, but they say he will most likely climb inside there. There's the way those guys shook out, the yellow guys with the stars, the ones that have been on this program. So great job out of those folks. And a reminder, this Friday, the Truck Series will be here at Iowa Speedway. So you want to make sure you get down and check out the Truck Series in our own backyard. Now, Knoxville Raceway was an interesting place over the weekend. This is the 360 division. That's Tony Schilling and Nate Van Haften, our buddy. And boy, they get upside down all over the place, down the front straightaway. Nobody was injured in that, thankfully. Those things are
When those things crash, they sure crash.
And they tumble a lot too. But check this out. This is kind of cool. This is Ryan Giles. You usually see him up here in a late model or something like that, but he's in a sprint car. Takes home the victory in the Medicom shootout in the 360 division. There's Matt Morrow on the right there and Dustin Clark on the left. So great job out of those guys. World of Outlaws were in town, but look at this. This is what happened. This was a late night at Knoxville Raceway. The fog moved in way late, and they're trying to call the race in the fog. And finally, Clark says, you know what, this is getting too dangerous. We can't have these guys run anymore. So Clark pulls out the flag and yellow flag, says, you guys slow her down, waves the yellow flag, and then says, we can't race anymore. So look at this is the finish. There's Donnie Schatz. Let's listen to Donnie Schatz explain what happened here. This is cool.
Hell of a job to get it in. I didn't really think we were going to. It's funny how that big storm missed us and the little one got us. So, that's the important part. I don't know what happened there with the fog. That's it wasn't bad till you got to turn 3. When you rolled down into turn 3, I was fine for finishing the race, but that's a tough call for somebody to have to make there for sure.
Unfortunately, it wasn't the best of a show. I really wanted to go again the last 10 laps, but I couldn't even see the cone on a restart. So hope we got the money's worth, and we'll make sure we'll make it up at Nationals.
Gary, Matt.
We're on the right-hand side, Justin Henderson on the left. Schatz, Henderson, and Madsen is the way they finished in the World of Outlaws 410 division. Now, the Boone Speedway, they end up running their event on Saturday evening as well. There are your winners for the Boone Speedway. No, not such a great start for the Osceola racetrack. Clark County Speedway, they had the raindrops take over, but yesterday, as in Sunday, busy day. They were racing in Toronto, IndyCar style. Jason Parkin. There's Elio. The last portion of the race, green flag stops to find out who is going to win the Toronto race, the Honda Indy Toronto. And it's our buddy, Joseph Newgarden, the winner. Yeah. That's win number 2 for Joseph Newgarden. So congratulations to him. Great job out of him. Simon Pagenaud, again, he was in position to win this event toward the end. So he is doing really well this year. So great to see him doing that well. Now, I want to remind you guys, IndyCars, those guys will be here middle of July, July 17th and 18th, along with the ARCA series over at the Iowa Speedway. So make sure you check that out. Also, let's not jump over there. Let's give you the video first. My fault. I jumped it a little too quick. Here you go. This is what happened yesterday, the Cup Series. Now, this took all day long. It started about noon over in Michigan, and this is Kyle Busch back in the race. He has to finish in the teens and win a race to make the championship race. This doesn't help his effort. He slid up in the wall after a restart. That didn't do good. He finished 43rd overall. This is the end of the event. They're watching the rain clouds. That is Kyle Larson in position to win this race at the end. He didn't come in for a pit stop. He had to come in to get some gas, and lo and behold, he came and got gas. 3 laps later, the skies opened up for the final time, and there is your winner of the event. Kurt Busch wins race number 2 this year, just firmly securing his spot in the championship hunt. So there you have all the results from the Cup Series race, the Quicken Loans 400 yesterday. And one more little set of races to let you know about. Last night they ran at Stewart. They did get their races in at Stewart. And look at Llewellyn's kicking butt and taking names in the Sport Mines and the Hobby Stock divisions. Good job out of those guys. There you have it. There's your Monday morning race review. We'll be right back.